What is up, Geeks and Geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man behind the magic. You know him as Joe Garcia.
Let me turn my mic on. Hi, everybody. How's it
Yeah,
going?
you gotta do that.
Thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Countdown City Geekcast. And Ted, before we even got on here, he wanted to show us his nice little backdrop, of it was a clearance. Was it clearance, Jericho? I think we said it was a
I
clearance
think
for
so.
clearance book sale.
It was, let's put it, it's clearance at Target, so it's a little more upscale.
Yeah, a little
You
bit
know
more
what?
upscale.
You know what, guys? We're gonna do this right now.
And
This is what
you
we're
can
gonna
see
do.
Liana changing the lights back there too. Talk about automated.
She's working. Yeah, she's working the lights. She's got a little remote on the side over here, and she's switching them
She's
back
like,
and
now,
forth.
Dad. Okay,
Yeah.
now, Dad.
What if she decides
Okay.
to come in and start knocking
Here's a
everything off the
snack.
shelf?
She doesn't.
Well-
She's very respectful of the studio. She knows exactly what's at stake. So yeah, that doesn't happen in this household. Let me
I think
introduce
she's-
Jericho. And we got last but never the least, the heart of the Countdown to the Geekcast, the one and only Jericho.
What is up, y'all? How's it
Yeah,
going?
man. Missed you guys.
Yes. You decided to
guys-
go on a beach vacation. Didn't invite any of us. Lets us know by sending a picture with some palm trees.
You know what Teddy is, Jericho? He's that Scrooge McDuck, from DuckTales swimming and all that money.
Yep.
Uncle Teddy, he just takes these extravagant vacations, man.
Extra.
Doesn't even invite us, doesn't even take us along or nothing.
He probably
man.
went on his own too. He probably didn't even take his
Probably,
family.
right?
He's like,
Left
"Hey, y'all
kids
put this
and life
shelf
behind.
together that I bought.
You know what?
and set it up for me."
We're gonna get back to the show. If you're watching in the chat, I want you to say what's up. It's a very exciting day. It should be, at least. The Halo series is finally here. All the projects, all the development items, everything that they've tried to make in the past, the movies and whatnot, all for naught. We finally have some live action Halo content, and the first episode dropped today. We're going to talk about that first, and then later in the show, we also have some geeky weekly headlines, and we're also going to be talking about episode 8 of season 2 of Superman and Lois. I hope you guys have been watching. The show is getting extremely good, and these cats love it, and we're going to keep talking about it. We're also going to be talking about or just previewing what we have coming up. Our calendar, Nick's in the chat. Our calendar is getting extremely busy. There's so many brand new shows coming out. We're going to talk about all of those. But first,
when is Nick Kramer going to come back on the Countdown City Geekcast?
Yeah, man, we need him.
the door is always open, Nick. You know that, sir. And he says the Halo premiere was actually good. I'm
agree.
going to second that, and that's what we're going to talk about first. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it, but I would also add, there's not anything to really spoil, if you will. It's sort of one big setup for the entire show. It's a jumping off point, and we're going to talk about it. Jericho, unfortunately, hasn't seen it, but he is also a major Halo fan, and he's going to watch it
Major.
as soon as he can. First off, I just want to say this has been a long time coming, right? 2001 is when the original game dropped, and that was just the perfect time for me. I was a sophomore in high school at the time, and it was just like the most groundbreaking video game maybe ever. Video games took a major leap forward when Halo came out, and it was already cinematic. Like, it had this larger than life story, and the graphics were incredible. The gameplay was so smooth, and the reason why I'm saying all this is because a lot of those attributes, a lot of those aspects of the video game, we got clearly depicted in this premiere episode. So we're talking about Halo right now. It's good to point out it opens up in the year 2552. I'll come back to that in a second, but that's a very important year in the video game lore. Joe knows I'm talking about, so we'll get to that in a second. Real quick summary. We open on a rebel outpost on Madrigal. We find out that the UNSC sort of controls the galaxy. I'm getting some really weird Empire type vibes when they mention that, and Joe, you probably felt the same way. And I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a major plot point of the series going forward, and it's going to be interesting why they're doing it because you never sort of had those feelings in the game. Well, we'll get to that in a second. We're at this rebel outpost on the planet Madrigal. The insurrectionists, what they're called, or the rebels, are attacked by a squad of elite warriors from the Covenant. During the slaughter, a group of Spartans led by the one and only OG himself, Master Chief, aka John 117, drop in and eliminate the threat. In a nearby cave, the elites were excavating some type of ancient artifact. John just so happens to touch it later in this episode, and it almost unlocks some suppressed memories he's had from a past he never knew or once knew, but it seemed to be erased. Quan, who is a teenage girl who was part of the Rebel Alliance, was the sole survivor from this outpost and is brought along with Master Chief and the artifact back to Reach, the UNSC headquarters. Uh, Orders have changed. Master Chief is now ordered to kill Quan, the teenage rebel sole survivor. This doesn't sit well with him. He disobeys orders and is now welcomed by what seems like the entire UNSC military command. Just everybody and their mother are just waiting for John to arrive, who's now been declared sort of a threat to the human race. Let's see here. The episode ends with John touching the artifact one last time, eliminating power in the surrounding areas and allowing him to escape on the ship with Quan. And that's where the episode ends. A lot of sort of subplot points on this episode, but this episode opens on this rebel outpost and it's attacked by the elites and the Covenant, and you automatically understand like they're using the game verbatim as the blueprint for the movements, the weapons, the sounds. Everything is just pulled directly from the game. 98%. There's things like John's voice that isn't exactly Master Chief from the game, but like everything else looks, feels like the game. There's even a point where we see the first person view of John's helmet, and you're getting the video game display that we all know and love so well. Joe, give me your general thoughts about the premiere episode, man.
I just think it's a different take, kind of deviating a little bit from the Halo lore, from the actual original story. And you like some of the deviation that's taken place because, as you said, the USNC is now kind of like the Empire, kind of making them look like the bad guy. So I like more of the human element. They focused this episode. It seemed like they made a big attempt to focus on the rebels and more of the humanity of the series, as far as how it affects other people. So I like that. Let's say I like that contrast because it wasn't just all about the Spartans. The Spartans are an instrumental part of the story, yes, especially Master Chief. But I like the way that they were able to kind of mesh together the human element, plus they're bringing in the Covenant, and they're bringing them in slowly, but they're also kind of giving you a backstory on the artifacts, things of that nature. Kind of opening the door a little bit early on, so you can see kind of the way that the Covenant operate as their collective. And for people who are really into the Halo series, you know damn well what that artifact was that Master Chief discovered in the catacombs of was it Magical? Magical,
Magical,
Magical, the planet Magical. That was from
magical,
well,
just like Encanto, the magical family,
oh
Mm.
no,
the
that
Madrigal
was that
family.
was no. But I think the artifact is no doubt from the Forerunners. So that's why the Covenant are highly seeking these artifacts because, of course, they have some information that will probably unfold as the series goes along, you know. And if you've played the games, you kind of know already what's going to happen. But for Jericho, who hasn't even seen the episode, I don't want to go ahead and ruin things for him.
Well,
It's all good. It's all good.
I, I want to go back and touch on the UNSC part, sort of acting like the Empire out here. Oh, but
Yeah.
first, Derek's in the chat. What's going on, sir? He says Master Chief can do whatever he wants. I agree.
I thought for a minute he
Um,
was Rob. I was like, oh no.
I think Rob would probably agree too because he
He,
really
I,
loved playing those
Rob
games.
would have shit on the Halo series. He wouldn't have liked it.
Nick's dropping knowledge in here. Let's see
Uh-oh.
what he's got. Oh man, I can't read all of it. Hang on one second. He says United Nations Space Command (UNSC) are the human government, and the outer colonies are wanting their independence. UNSC don't want to because they put those colonists out there to farm, mine the elements needed for the construction and fuel for the ships. That disagreement, which is a cause for the origin of the Spartans to put down the insurrectionists in the game lore, is what causes a war between the outer colonies and the UNSC. It's when the Covenant make first contact and attack humanity that they turn their attention to the work together to fight the aliens. Dropping knowledge. Um, those sort of game lore, the mythos, I think those sort of were always not I think I overlooked a lot of those things. This feels like the UNSC, in the video game, we sort of started out with the Covenant attacking Reach and Master Chief being one of the only survivors, along with squads of other military,
Marine.
including Commander Keyes, escaping Reach before the destruction of it, and that's sort of where the game jumps off. But here, it's interesting to find out that the UNSC aren't exactly good guys. Like, these are acts of war. Like, no, what's the word? Killing prisoners isn't honorable. Let's put it that way. And yet they're ordering Master Chief to do that, killing an unarmed um,
Civilian, basically.
prisoner of war. She's part of the Rebel Alliance, but she wasn't exactly a soldier. She's only a teenager, and yet they're ordering John 117 to do this. And so you're already getting a little bit of an idea of who's running the show with the UNSC. And I think they're planting those seeds for a very specific reason. Humanity's not going to be completely good or all good. There's going to be some gray areas. And I think it's going to be very interesting that they're showing us this episode 1. Like, you could have did a slow burn and these reveals could have been made, could have appeared later on in the season, and that would have been a great twist. Like, oh my god, the humans aren't all the good guys. Like, we're actually part of the evil empire, that kind of a thing. But they're doing it in episode 1, which leads me to believe that John 117, aka Master Chief, is going to have to make some unusual alliances going forward. The enemy of my enemy
Deviation.
is my friend.
Mhm.
Yeah. And in the game, John made some unusual alliances with like elites and whatnot. Later in video game lore. And there's also some other like horror type elements that I love in the first game, regarding to the flood. And I'm really hoping for that, but it doesn't feel 100% like we're following the video game lore bit for bit.
Yeah.
If they're going to spend some early time sort of doing a prelude to the events of the first game, totally fine with it. I'm going along for the ride. I'm not setting my expectations too high. I definitely want to enjoy the story that they're telling us. They're doing it for a reason. So I want to just go along with it. I would suggest everybody else go along with it. Let's see how this turns out. But all the action stuff, like, they got on, they nailed it 100%. I was getting a little teary eyed. I was getting a little misty. I'm like, this is what I've always wanted. And they did it so well. It went from like I mentioned earlier, the video game movements when you play it, so smooth, man. They're so quick. You just and you love to see all of that incorporated in the game. The way that Master Chief would run, the way that he would jump, all of just the angles of him shooting, all the weapons that you recognize from the game, the battle rifle, the heavy machine gun, um, the sniper rifle, like all of those things incorporated already in the first episode. Like, the warthog we see later on in the episode, just like, nostalgia. It's so good. Nick says, yeah, in the games, we've already been fighting the Covenant for years when the first game starts. And then he says, in the lore, the Office of Naval Intelligence are basically the CIA of the UNSC, willing to do shady stuff to win.
Hmm.
The show takes place before Reach, and the creators already confirmed they're deliberately doing a slightly different set of events from the game lore. Exactly. Yeah, completely agree. And I think that's very evident in this first one because they're already setting up this like they're already setting up Master Chief's on his own. Like the end of episode 1, dude's already a fugitive. It's like, wow, we've already like figured out, well, we've already gotten really far into this character arc for him to be completely alone, and now he's going to be caught between this civil war with the human race, the UNSC and these outer planets, this war between the Covenant and the UNSC, and he also has this fugitive with him, this rebel teenager Quan, and now he's on the run with this ancient artifact. A lot of questions are raised by the end of this episode, and they're all very good. They're all very interesting, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe there's 9 episodes in this first season, or at
I
least
think
that's how
there's a
many they
new
have
episode
listed so
this
far.
Friday. There's a new episode, I think, airing this Friday, I believe.
Oh
Really?
wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Joe, any sort of other final thoughts? If you're in the chat, let us know, what are you most excited to see? What was your favorite part of episode 1? Um, Man, just Chief
Well,
dropping in that first drop, that was just like gave me goosebumps, bro. Gave me goosebumps. I was like, "Oh my god, here we
Did
go."
did it make you want to grab your remote like you thought? Oh, the game's
no,
starting.
Where's
no,
my
I thought it
controller?
was a
It's over
good
there.
first episode, but I did have some problems with some of the scenes and stuff. I mean,
Ooh,
it seems like
preach, preach.
they were trying to deviate a lot, not deviate a lot, but trying to really separate themselves, I think, and show that this is gonna be an entirely different show than one show that I used to love way back in the day called Battlestar Galactica, with the elements of bringing up religion, especially with the Covenant, which is gonna be so prevalent throughout the series because it was throughout the game, and showing the contrast in what happens with the human world as far as, the USNC and, Ani and all that kind of stuff going on, plus the other side stories going on with Master Chief himself. Um, it just seems like some of the acting it's not quite where it needs to be. Some of the CGI and some of the scenes was a little off. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna sit here and nitpick every single thing because I mean it's a series, and I think it's a high production at the end of the day, and they're doing a really good job of bringing this beloved series to life, or the Halo series itself to life, and bringing it out to the masses. But I think they're trying to really separate themselves and show that they are entirely different. That there's not going to be. They're trying to show that they're very different from one Battlestar Galactica because I'm pretty sure it's only a matter of time before fans start kind of putting two together and start comparing the two series. They're entirely different with entirely different characters set in entirely different universes, but they do share some similarities. And that's what I'm already seeing out of this Halo series. Not saying that it's exactly a ripoff. No, it's not. But they do share some similarities. And I like that. It's not a bad thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the series goes from here.
I am curious. There's a lot of subplots in this first episode that are just kind of like thrown out there, like appear. Like we're already seeing High Charity, and we're seeing some of the leaders of the Covenant, and it's like you could sort of keep the curtains a little bit closed and give us things slowly. These can all be reveals later in the season, but we're just sort of given these elements, and it is curious. These are very specific storytelling
Elements.
narratives, yeah, the elements that usually are followed by every type of series or movie or whatever, and yet we're just sort of given these things right away without any sort of mystery behind what's happening or what's going on, or like what do these creatures look like. And maybe it's because the fandom is already so large, and these are all things that are sort of common knowledge to people who've been playing the game since 2001. But I still would think, for the mainstream audience who might not be so familiar with the lore, you don't want to give out too much information too soon. You want to sort of learn along the way with your protagonist. In this case, it would be Master Chief John 117, and learn about these things. Learn about the leaders of the Covenant through his eyes, and as he becomes aware of them, or um, learn about. There's a few other things that they dropped in here that is very curious. They also dropped the subplot about the clones, and then Cortana's name got name dropped, which is exciting. We all know they cast the original voice actors for Katana in this series, so that's also going to be like a very goosebump, like emotional, nostalgic moment when we
Yeah.
see Cortana for the first time, who's just as popular and famous with the fandom as John 117
Why
as
aren't we
Master
talking
Chief.
about the reveal, the big reveal in this episode, which is they showed the Master Chief's face. In the video game lore,
That's
you never get to
also
see him.
that's also a very curious
Hmm.
decision to make. It's
Great.
so soon.
It's a big deviation.
Yeah, and again, we're not saying like this is wrong, you shouldn't do it. It's a very specific decision made by this writing team, any of the creators involved to do it so soon is curious. Again, these are conscious decisions that you're making. They must be made for a reason. What that reason is, I hope we find out, and they're just not like, oh, we just did it because reasons. I think there should be some solid reasons why they're making these decisions. Just like showing his face. So it's very curious, man. Very curious.
I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think was in
Shoot,
those pods, when that when they were talking with Dr. Halsey and they're just like, "Oh, look at, you still have these things around," kind of, you know, they were kind of peeking to see, "Oh, she still has these experiments around." And they were kind of saying, "Hey, you need to go ahead and basically eradicate them, because
clones.
it's illegal." Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it," but she's still keeping them around. Do you think those are the clones?
Yeah, and it actually looked like a clone of her.
Yeah, a younger version with no hair.
Yeah, completely agreed. So why? Why, right? Again, I feel like there's a lot of subplots going on at the same time. What's going to be relevant by the end of the first season? What's
You see,
not going to be relevant by the end of the first
yeah.
season?
This is what I was
These,
trying to make a point of, Ted, with the
what's
clone.
that?
Is are they gonna have kind of like, I hope they don't, man, because it'd be a ripoff of Battlestar Galactica if they start having some type of resurrection. That's a bunch of bullshit, dude. I'm gonna bounce out if they come up with that crap.
Yeah.
Like, in other
Uh,
words, you can't die because your subconscious will go ahead and get uploaded into another clone that's in stasis just waiting, to receive the data, It's like,
yep, yep.
no, bro.
You see, well, the only reason we don't see his face in the games is because it's a player insertion thing. You can't do that in a mobile TV show with your main character. Mandalorian had a narrative reason for it. There wasn't one for the chief, also in the book. Totally get it. But it is, you would agree, Nick, because they're already setting up, and like the very, very first scene, these rebels are talking about the Spartans and the first, mythical elements are talking and discussing about is they're not human. They're just killing machines. All they do
Yeah.
is they kill. They don't think, they don't have emotions. They don't stop until everything's dead. So even the rebels are thinking in the back of their heads that these Spartans can't be human by any means. So it's kind of like you're setting up the lore, which fans of the game even thought in the first one, like, there's no way these things are human. Um, and yet it's already like something, the curtain's already pulled back on that thing. So again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's interesting. Interesting to kind of get that mystery out of the way so
Yeah.
quickly.
But there was also
Yes.
another mystery too that we haven't talked about, and the artifact itself was activated by John 117, aka Master Chief.
Yes,
But
yes, it
the
was.
only other person to be able to activate a Forerunner artifact is the other human who's in uh, charity with the Covenant. You know, so what's the connection between these two, and why is it only them that can activate the artifact? And then you see curiously, and when you're looking back into that vision that Master Chief was having of his younger self, he was
Yeah.
drawing a picture of the artifact or sketching one out as a child. So curious to see what they're going to do with that. What
You know
direction
what?
they're going to
I
go.
missed that. If you saw that, I missed that completely.
Go back and look, because you see in the vision when he's there as a child on the table and he's drawing something on the paper, it's that Forerunner artifact. And he even holds up the paper like that to show his mom.
Nick says the clone of Halsey is for Katana. In the game lore, smart AIs are just programmed, but Cortana is different. She is programmed from a cloned brain, in this case, Dr. Halsey's. That's why she's so special. And then, sort of in a comment to what I was saying, yeah, but that's for the public in universe as propaganda. Spartans can't be labeled as killed in action, just missing in action. I get that. I get that. But again, this show isn't just for you and me. This show is for mainstream audiences, and so it feels like just a normal storytelling um, narrative or strategy. I don't know, to keep that mystery there for a little bit. Are Spartans humans? Do they have emotions? Do they feel? And that thing is completely like removed in episode one. Very interesting decision that they're making. Derek says, my team was always killed in action during the campaign and multiplayer in the game. LOL. It's because I wasn't on your team, bro. You should have invited me. I would have took care of you. You know that. Derek, my younger brother, who I still to this day, I've talked about on the show before, my favorite in-game moment of all time is when Derek and I, in the first Halo game, we open up this ship, we're investigating it, and then suddenly, like, you see a little movement there, you see a little movement here, and these doors blow open and out come the swarms of the flood. And it was like, at the time I didn't play a lot of like straight horror games. I had, played different things that sort of had horror elements to it that are too old to be scary. But that was like my first sort of zombie type, cinematic moment in a video game. And me and my younger brother are shitting bricks and screaming at the TV, "What's happening? What's going on?" And we're just shooting in all directions because these, zombie like parasitic creatures are like sprinting at us, and they looked so insane. Derek says that freaked me out. Yes. Still my favorite experience playing a video game was the reveal of the flood. And that's why I sort of have high hopes that we have a similar type reveal or introduction to the flood, but I'm not exactly sure. I have a question for Nick. Do you think the Covenant's going to attack Reach in this season? Let me know what you think, Nick. I don't know for sure, 100%. that they're going to do some of these, you know, combat evolved um, moments in the series. But if they do, it'd be awesome. Derek says they took a whole mag to kill. It took a lot more than that. We probably ran out of ammo that first time just because we weren't, prepared at all to do it. And Nick also says, "Yep," replying to Derek. So let me know, even Derek and Nick, both you guys, do you think that at some point in this first season, the Covenant is going to attack Reach? Master Chief is already on his own, which is kind of one of the main jump off points of the video game. Yeah, Nick says he thinks that it'll be season 2. So it's like we will find the Halo in the series. Just don't know if it's going to be early on in the season, it'll be a focal point, or if it's just going to be something they'll do at the end. All right, I'm actually gears are turning. So Chief takes off with Quan, right? And he's a runaway now. He's a fugitive, like most wanted number one of the planet of the galaxy, actually. And he's gonna have to like run for his life, and maybe something happens to the ship. Maybe they stumble upon the Halo, and they decide to hide out there, or maybe the artifact will lead them there. That might be also a thing, and maybe the series goes on from there. Joe, any thoughts about how the Halo will get introduced in the series?
I don't even think the Halo has to be introduced at the end of season 1, to
It's
be honest
called
with you.
Halo.
I get that, but it doesn't have to be introduced necessarily at the end of season 1. You can build up to that, you can make a reference to it. My thing is, I think they need to do more of the build up on behind the supporting characters, Dr. Halsey, some of the other characters that you're seeing there, because they're gonna play an instrumental part moving forward. And the other thing I like is, what are they gonna wind up doing with Master Chief, the other Spartans? Because they still seem, even though he's, on the run, they're still willing to go ahead and protect him. He's part of their family, part of their collective. So they're still wanting to, do whatever they can to kind of make sure that he doesn't get hurt by any of the other Marines. So I like what they're doing with the story. I just don't feel like it's necessary at this point. I think what they need to do is just kind of have like this backstory, which I think would be season 1. The end of season 2, I think that's when you can kind of meet up where the video game was, you know? And then if they have a 3rd season, then you go and you can do Halo 2 Combat Evolved. So that would be my timeline if you're gonna really stretch it out and try to put as much story as you can and lore into every season. Don't try to overextend yourself and reveal too much too fast, which is what they already did in this first episode. I kinda hope that they pull back a little bit and kind of just reveal things a little bit sporadically. Pacing is everything, and I like the action, but also kind of hold back a little bit with the reveals.
Pacing is everything, and just like you just mentioned, it's a lot of information in episode 1.
Mhm. It was.
Um, a ton, and I think it's all supposed to matter because that's what good writing does. Everything matters, everything has purpose. But I think that we need to get to Halo. I think that we'll get to Halo sooner because Chief is already a fugitive, by the end of episode 1. Derek says we might find Halo towards the end of season 1. Nick says, I think we'll just talk about it, and eventually, after Reach is destroyed in season 2, then we'll get to the Halo. And Chief is totally going to be back with Halsey's Silver Team, UNSC, before the end of the season. He'll be
He will
given
be.
Cortana at that point.
He will be.
Really?
If you've seen the trailer, if you
Mm,
look at the trailer, like after you watch the first episode, they played like an extended, almost like a TV uh, segment, right? And as they're revealing their TV segment, as far as like some of the reveals that are going to be happening throughout this series or season 1,
yeah.
they do show Master Chief out there, and he's calling on his group. You know, so there's some way somehow he's going to wind up coming back to them full circle.
Just calling on the Silver Team or calling on
No, he was calling
UNSC?
on the Silver Team. No, he was calling specifically, go back and after you
Which
watch episode 1, look at the little TV spot that they have, and you're gonna hear him call them out.
It's like a Marvel trailer, Joe. You can't trust everything you see in the
I'm
trailer.
just saying, brother. I'm just saying that's exactly what
I'm just
what I
kidding.
saw.
You
That's
know
what I
what? But they're already kind of embedding in our heads that orders are above all, right?
yeah.
Like there's not going to be any room for Master Chief to disobey orders, and the UNSC is already hardcore in that regards. So, what's going to be the thing that gets John 117 back in the good graces? He doesn't have anything to offer them at this point.
Maybe
Could he
another
just
artifact.
maybe? But they don't care. Halsey cares, but nobody else cares right now. So it'll be. You're probably right. He will be back with them eventually. But in my head, I'm just like, usually with orders, like once you've deviated, like that's it. You're cut off, and now like you're the number one threat to everyone.
How do you know it's
And
not gonna get real Game of Thrones behind the scenes? You know, with all these moves that are gonna go on, the political moves that go on behind the scenes. How do you know that Dr. Halsey's not gonna go ahead and turn and try to go ahead and kill her superiors and put a new,
because
person
you
in place?
can't, you
You don't know that, Jeff. You don't know that, Jeff. You don't know that, Ted, because they're still kind of
you're so used to telling Jeff he's
Come on,
wrong
Jeff.
that you
yes.
just
I'm just saying they've deviated already a little bit from the
I
script. So maybe
yeah
there's gonna be
no
another twist or turn here.
I get that. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
this introduction to this series is so interesting because we're getting conflict in the military ranks between Chief and the UNSC. And that's not something in the game. Usually when Chief would like go against orders, it was for the greater good. You know, he had to
Yeah.
save somebody else. He had to protect someone else. He had to, prevent more civilians from dying. And like, yeah, Chief would go do those things. He was like Superman in that regard. He would always put the lives of others ahead of himself, and I'm not saying he's not like that, but we haven't. I mean, that's exactly what happened, right? He put the life of Quan above the entire UNSC. So, but they're out there hunting him now for it. So that's completely different. You would usually it was just like, yeah, you didn't listen, but you made the world a better place, and they can't say that now.
Well, how do you
You
know
know,
Dr. Halsey's not gonna say, "Oh, he was doing a undercover mission at my discretion and this and that, trying to retrieve the artifact that was gonna lead him to another artifact," and this and that, and, it gets him back in the good graces if
you
he
know why?
returns both artifacts. Who
Because
knows?
Halsey's not the head honcho. She
It
takes
doesn't matter,
orders.
but knowledge is power, and if you hold the keys to what they wanna know, you can go ahead and manipulate.
I believe you, but the commander of the UNSC is like a real hard ass, and so I don't
She's
think
not
she's
that
just gonna forgive and
no
forget.
hard ass, but look at what happened in the first episode.
I
She's
know.
like what was she saying? "Oh, if you bring the artifact, then maybe we can go ahead and,
Did that
kind of
happen?
change the tune." She was talking to her in the first episode. She was like, "Oh, this is a failure. Look at what your Spartans did. They were only able to bring back one survivor." She goes, and "Whoa, they have an artifact and this and that. It's different, different than anything I've seen before." She goes, "Well, if you bring that back, well, maybe we can convince him to go ahead and still fund you." I'm telling you, man, knowledge is power, and that changed the tune real quick.
I believe you. I believe you. But also, I have not yet gotten the feelings that the UNSC is completely um they care completely about this artifact. It's a lot like the government and Superman and Lois. Clark's like, I need this amulet, and they're like, nobody gives an F about the amulet, bro. We need Bizarro, your evil
They
twin.
wanna bring him to justice, but this is totally different. In this case, in the military world, you're trying to get an upper hand on your foe. You're gonna want as much intel, and if you can go ahead and weaponize this artifact or this technology to your benefit to gain the upper hand against your enemy, you're gonna do it, and
Sure.
that's exactly what they want in this case.
I'm all down. I'm down for it. All I'm saying is I'm down for it. Nick says, yeah, Chief isn't a fugitive in the games. This is just a thing he's going through because that device is freaking him out because his memories of being kidnapped by Halsey for the Spartan program are being dredged up. LOL. It was also it was the friends we made along the way, and he also confirms, yes, she said that in the episode. I agree with you, not disagreeing with you. I feel like it would be too easy to say like we got this artifact and it leads us to the super weapon the Covenant we're trying to take. There's probably a good way they're going to execute all of this, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. If he does get back with the UNSC, doesn't feel like it's going to happen soon, right? Feels like he's going to be on the run for a while, and that could be the way that he discovers Halo, either led there by this artifact or stumbles upon it while he's on the run with Quan, and that could just be a variation from the games. Maybe because they want Reach around.
Reach
Maybe
around.
because they want to keep Reach
No pun intended.
around
No pun intended.
on the series. Wow, I walked right into that one. Okay, it's
But
time
what
to
kind
move
of
on.
gas mileage does the Condor get? Because this guy is going to be able to travel on one tank throughout the universe in this freaking vehicle, the Condor. I'm like, really, bro?
It's one of those things in
Don't
media
ask,
that
don't
you
tell.
don't ask about. Yeah, Star Trek, Star Wars. No one's ever like, except for like in the most recent trilogy, is when they finally cared about gas. But before that, no one's ever talked about fuel ever. But it was a thing in the most recent trilogy, and I don't even want to talk about it because it just seems so
Well,
silly
they
to bring
also
up
made it
now.
a thing in Solo, the Han
Star,
Solo movie.
Star Trek always talked about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you. Star
Don't
Wars did. And
tell
Star
him
Wars is
stuff
like,
like
nah, they
that.
go
Don't tell him
forever. They're
stuff like
just
that, Jericho. Teddy's got to watch it first, man.
Yeah, that's true. Spoiler
I've-
alert, they talk about
we're
gas.
good. I've watched all the movies, First Contact and all that going forward. So cool. That was our discussion on the Halo premiere. Can't wait for episode 2. We want to keep hearing from you. If you're watching this video at a later time, let us know your thoughts about the premiere. Drop your thoughts in the chat. Drop your theories in the chat. We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments.
You want to reach
said
around and
episode.
tell Teddy what you thought. Go
Yeah.
ahead and drop it in the chat.
That's on his OF channel.
Oh man. Derek says gas is too high and Halo is all electric and solar.
Ah, there you go.
There you go. You
Green
solved the whole
energy.
thing.
Yeah, but then if
Solved
Master
the whole
Chief needs
thing.
a jump, he's going to get a jump by a freighter or something that's running off of diesel fuel. So
Awesome. All right. Again, let us know what you thought about the premiere. Drop it in the chat. Episode 2, I have here listed that it's going to drop on March 31st, which is a week from today. So I don't know if there's going to be an early release for it. That would be dope. I'm excited to find out what happens. But IMDb has it dropping on the 31st. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Second topic of the night is one of our favorites, Superman and Lois. This is episode 8. Jericho, feel free to discuss this episode here, sir.
yeah,
Oh,
let
thank
him talk, Teddy.
I am absolutely after I do my very quick
Oh, he's gonna
summary.
monologue again, Jericho.
Very quick
Take a nap.
summary.
Let me take
Joe,
Let's do this.
start
timey.
the time watch right now. The stopwatch.
Time. Ready?
Let me go ahead and hold on. Okay,
Ready? Wait,
Now.
all right. Superman and Lois, episode 8, Into Oblivion. Jonathan keeps his lips sealed. Lieutenant Anderson betrays Allie Alston. John Henry is out of the hospital. Lucy reappears. Kyle throws a Hail Mary, and Jordan to the rescue. Time.
That was
14
about
seconds. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Yeah. All right.
14. All right.
There you go. See? You like that? You like that? All right.
No, it didn't seem like Teddy though. Just like
I know.
Anyways, Jericho, your thoughts on episode 8, sir. What did you think about it? What stood out to you?
This it was a good episode. I think what stood out to me was the whole relationship with Jordan and Jonathan. I'm getting tired of Kyle. I want him to just be written off the show.
Kyle.
You like Kyle, the alcoholic, cheating husband?
I mean, he got sober and
He got
things
sober,
got
but he still
revealed,
cheated.
but when he was at a low point in his life and he's tried to be better since then, you know,
but
Hey
he
Go
hid
man,
on,
it.
go on,
He
go
hey
he
on.
man,
hid it from his wife and his
hey
family.
man. He said Latino, bro. I mean, things happen. You know, it was only one
Nah,
time,
bro.
baby. I love you.
Nah,
I
bro.
still love
Don't
you.
don't don't group us all under
That,
that.
that meant
Um,
nothing. That was only one time.
um, but yeah, I really like the whole like Jordan is trying to he's being the good brother and he's like trying to protect his Jonathan and he's not really trying to give him up or anything, like yeah, he was out of the loop and everything when as far as like the drugs, but he's still trying to protect him as much as possible, keeping that secret. um Comes to the rescue at the end, and I know I put it in our group chat. He looked exactly, if you look up what did I say, it was Earth One, I think, the comic book cover. He looked exactly like Clark did in there with the hood, the jacket, the
The
hood. It was
hoodie.
so badass. Yeah, I was like, holy crap, that's awesome. Um, but I don't know, man. And the whole Lucy dynamic, uh, it was too easy for her to come back. So I had a very good idea. It's either not her or Allie like really got to her and basically we lost her. Like she's not on the good side anymore. For her to turn on her dad like that.
I don't think she
Um,
ever was Jericho. That's the thing. I think she
y-
left a long time ago.
okay, yeah. See, so it could be what, like the other world version of her. But
No,
if
I,
that's
I
the
think it
case,
was.
then
I think it was her, bro. She's just not the same person anymore.
yeah, yeah, okay. Um, I don't know, man. Yeah. So besides that, and then Clark and the whole dynamic with John Henry and trying to patch things up with Natalie, and she just things just keep happening to where he's almost he's not being there for them. He didn't get to go pick him up from the hospital, and Natalie's just giving him all this shit for hurting her dad and all that, which is understandable, totally understandable. But and then in the end kind of makes up for it by giving them, I don't know how he thinks it's okay. Like, yeah, my friend's out of town or whatever, so go stay at their place. But that was cool. But yeah, I'm very curious of where this is all going to go. I want to know who Allie truly is because I'm following the theory that I think she is of somebody that she's supposed to be, and it's, to me, it's pointing more and more towards it.
I kind of want you to tell us your theory because I don't want you to claim something that you didn't talk about before.
Well, so
Oh
that's true.
man.
So it's not my theory; it's something that I read online,
Oh,
and
okay.
I totally agree with it. So there's talks that she might be Granny Goodness.
Mephisto.
Yeah, it's Mephisto. He finally made his debut.
You heard
But
it
yeah,
here first, folks.
there's talks that she might be Granny Goodness with it, which is not a stretch. I mean, being a Superman show and all,
That's
that'd be pretty
interesting.
cool. Because first it was like, oh, she's a different version of Eclipso because of the whole, pendant, and that's his whole dark magic thing. But then it finds out there's two pendants, and that's not a Eclipso, thing. Um, and then I saw this theory that yeah, she's Granny Goodness. She's trying to bring these worlds together to kind of set up at some point, kind of set up for Dark Side. Maybe, again, I don't. It might be a bit of a stretch, but at least for her character to kind of turn out to be, I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be interesting,
Somehow get rid of
and
her, and then she comes back later on.
it's on par with what this show does because all they do is tease us that so and so is
Yep.
this person just to like flip it on
The whole
us at
switcheroo.
some point and do the whole switcheroo. No, what do they call it in
It's like a
rope a
red
dope?
herring, a rope a dope. Yeah, yeah.
Broken arrow, baby. Rope a
A
dope.
Yep.
reach around.
It's a reach around.
Where the hell's JC when
I
I
know.
said that? He would have been cracking up. All right.
Oh man, but yeah,
Uh
overall, really good episode.
definitely, definitely. I can't believe Jonathan's still protecting this chick. I'd have been like, you're on your own, girl. Like
For real.
you what's it called?
Hey man, bad girls
You
do bad.
dug. You made your bed, not lie in it. Like even though you're trying to do it for like admirable reasons, like it's causing way more harm than it is doing good for anyone. Now you got like
Like
drug addict meth heads, trying to attack you. So like, it's not worth it anymore. Like, come on now.
yeah, like they haven't their relationship hasn't been shown, and not to say that relationships are important, but I don't feel like their relationship has been shown to where sort of like where Jordan and what's her name, Sarah.
Yeah.
Like I care more about them than Jonathan and this girl. Wasn't she the same girl that was like sort of stuck up in the beginning and kind of gave him a hard time and stuff like, and
Yeah.
now
And
you know what
then
I mean? Like I don't know. So I care more about Jordan and Sarah. If something would happen with them, that would be more like if they were in their shoes, like if the roles were reversed, I think I would be more concerned about them. But Jonathan and this chick, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, why are you protecting her so much? And I don't know if you. So I know you said you watched our review last week, but part of me still thinks that the girl's dad is Anderson, is General Anderson. I have a feeling because she was so adamant about protecting him, and I know in this episode she says, "Oh well, he's we're broke. It's just the two of us." That could be just kind of throwing him off. But
ooh,
but the fact
scandalous.
the fact that Anderson has all this access to the XK, where's her dad going to get it from? Unless he works there at the DOA or whatever, some mate or DOD. Um, uh, so it could be where he's not Anderson. Maybe it's just somebody who is able to get access to it. But I don't know why she, again, yeah, like Jonathan protecting her so much. Like, what's the point?
Absolutely. Joe, give us your thoughts, man, about episode 8.
Episode 8 was I thought it was pretty cool. Again, I like the fact that they they put a focus on the stuff that's happening with the family. You see the love triangle with Sarah, her boo that she cheated on, you know.
Oh, and
She's
she
like,
put him in that spot too.
yeah, yeah, you got to come over here because she's my friend and her parents went through a divorce, blah blah blah. I'm like, no mames, you just want somebody to talk. You want to talk with her again, you know. And it's
Uh-oh.
like, whatever, man. It's
Hmm.
like poor Jordan, man. He's getting reeled back in this, even though he don't want to be. And what's up with that girl, dude? Like, why is he sticking up so hard for this girl, man? That's the thing that I don't
Telling
get
you,
either.
yeah.
The only thing that I can get out of the whole thing is that she had said something to him in the past episode, like she she said that look at where they're living. They live in a trailer park. They don't have a very lavish lifestyle, and it seems like she's from a single parent home, so either her mom or dad, whoever she's living with, has to work extremely hard to be able to provide anything for them. So she sees this plight, and she shared that with not Jordan, but what's the brother?
Jonathan
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah,
was
she
her
shared it
boyfriend.
with
Yeah.
Jonathan. So I think Jonathan feels like he has to protect her because she might be the sole provider, for helping her siblings that might be living in that home. So he knows that if he goes ahead and dimes her out, that it's not just affecting her, but affecting the entire family as well. But not in a positive way.
Yeah.
I get that, but like even Lois told him
You're
like
throwing away
you're
your life.
yeah,
You
you're
know,
throwing away your life for what? For this girl, for you don't want to say why. Like I mean, again, like there's not a lot of investment in them that I could I'm at no point in my it's just like, yeah, I totally agree. I'm on board with this. Like he should protect her. Like no, like dude, like again, it's like they've to me, I don't know the time frame, but it seems like they've only been dating a short time, probably a few months or whatever, and he's already going to great lengths to protect her, and he's gonna be kicked out or could be kicked out
yeah.
of school and all this stuff.
The heart
Yeah.
wants what the heart wants, man.
I guess so.
Teenage boy hormones, bro.
I guess so, but still,
But
man.
the thing is just like it kind of reminds me of the path that Anakin takes, how
Yeah.
he gets enamored with love, and he gets so enamored that it kind of eschews his view of the world, and what he's actually doing and willing to do for love. And that's the same thing that I see, Jonathan going through right now is that he's getting so enamored, he's getting kind of getting love blind where he's not realizing what's happening. So at some point, and even with the dynamic with his dad, it's kind of changing a little bit. Oh, we don't trust you. You just go to school and work and you come right back home. If you're going to do anything, we need to know about it. These emotions that are building up inside of him are not good. It's taking him to a dark place. And I think that what's going to happen eventually, somewhere along the line in the show, is that he does have powers and he doesn't need that XK or whatever to activate them. They're going to be activated by his raw emotion. And that might
Yep.
be a negative emotion. So we might see him take a darker turn by the end of the season 2. So I'm fully expecting that and I'm waiting for that to happen. So if we do see Superboy kind of emerge, might not be because he's out there to save the world.
Yeah.
I think so because that. I mean, we saw there's some set pictures where it shows Jonathan Kent, standing next to Superman, and we're like, "Hey, that's his dad." What were you gonna say, Ted?
That's
Spoiler
uh
alert.
s-
Spoiler alert.
right. I don't know for sure exactly what those mean, but
It could have been the
yeah,
inverse.
No, true,
yeah,
true, true, true.
very
That's
true.
what I'm saying. It could have been from there. We don't know. We don't
Has
even know.
been shown yet, Ted.
It hasn't even been
I
shown
get.
yet.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we shouldn't say things that haven't been revealed yet
They already
because
talked about Ted because they showed Bizarro.
no. I don't know what you're trying to do right now. Speaking of which, Bizarro's like dead now,
I
right?
think so. It seems that way.
Damn,
But
bro.
is anything
But
really dead in the comic book world, though?
you
Yes,
never know. Like,
Bizarro's dead.
was it you or JC? I think said.
They can
I think it
revive
might have
him
been
just like they did
JC. Yeah,
Superman.
like
That
he's
was
probably
Bam.
in a cell somewhere. He's like on he's in the freaking carbonite and he's frozen right now. And they'll bring him back. They'll spray
Well, it
some
was me
XK.
that said it. I said, look, even though
There
he
you go.
might not be alive in this universe, because it was taking a toll on him being here, right? Now, if they take him back where he came from, maybe that can revive him.
There you go. See?
I'm
Exactly.
I'm I'm curious what he fed off of. Is there a red sun in Bizarro's
It looked like
dimension?
it.
Look like it.
Okay, so there was like no way for him to get any help whatsoever if he was to be like wounded or fatally wounded on our planet. Yeah,
It
I think he's totally dead. And then
it also made me wonder how he was so strong on this Earth if it's the yellow sun.
because Anderson hit him with kryptonite.
Well, but
Kryptonite gives him
even then,
powers
just the fact that he was still able to fight Superman even before. I mean, unless he just wasn't exposed to the yellow sun as much before
I
the
I think
his
it's
demise and
like
all that.
this. The longer he stayed here, the weaker he would become. Even though he
Yeah,
was powerful because he fed off of the energy from the red sun, the yellow sun was slowly making him weaker. You know.
true.
Sorry,
Get away.
dog is making a cameo on the show. Stupid. All right, so yeah, episode 8, very interesting. My dog also thinks so.
Just trying to give you a reach
Um,
around.
What about Allie though? I think Allie is the equivalent of King the Conqueror. Really, I'm saying,
what?
yeah, because they said that she's really powerful. What does
I
that
don't.
actually mean? Because there's
I
2 versions of her, right? So when you
there's
unite
two
the
versions of
versions,
everybody. Stop.
but when you unite the versions together, she gets even stronger. So what is that saying? Like, is she gonna go ahead and come in? She's so strong because she can come into this world and kind of overtake it and rule it. And then every world she goes to, she takes command of it. That would make somebody instantly powerful.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe she's something along the lines of that kind of ruler or dictator, a
Which
similar
alley are you
one
talking about?
from the
There's two of
inverse
them.
world, the
Okay,
inverse.
that helps.
I think that's basically what she is. The one in this universe knows that there's something else that lies beyond the ascension, but she doesn't realize what it really means, you know?
Yeah, she's been betrayed.
Yeah.
Anderson's betrayed her, and I still don't understand what she's trying to protect. It's like everything that you've been fighting for, everything that you've been trying to bring to awareness, and all these people that you're trying to ascend. Like they totally you've lost their support. You no longer mean anything to them. So the fact that like she's in the interrogation room, not trying to give up any information, it's like, what do you have left? Like,
That's just to get in his head and mess
no,
with him,
I get
you
it, but I
know.
just don't know what she has left to like fight for. It's like your whole reason, your whole purpose that you've been aiming towards is like out of your hands now. It's like everything you've been praising and worshiping is like your entire religion has turned its back on you. Like you would think she'd be in a much lower place than what she is. How it goes on from there, not really sure. But yes, Inverse Alley, Bizarro Alley, is some type of really insane, crazy person. And what still are the ramifications of what they're trying to do? We've yet to see any of that happen. So still curious on what merging of these worlds might
What did
look like.
Bizarro say? He said that he was trying to come over here because he wanted to save this world and his own, you
Right.
know, and he needed the other pendant to do so. So you got to figure out, okay, you're kind of already have the pieces to the puzzle there, as far as what he's saying. Maybe she entered that world and was able to take command and full control over that, and that's why she's so powerful.
Inverse
You know,
Alley?
the inverse alley, because
Well,
Bizarro
I
kind of
think they're
hinted at
always
that.
there though.
I don't know because he said he needed the other pendant to save not only our world but his as well. And he was saying that you don't know her. She's very powerful, stronger than you or me, So it's like, what does that all mean? You know?
What is the ramifications of learning that Clark's brother has a wife in the Bizarro world?
There's nothing. I'm just saying he was saying that
That has to be something.
she would I'm just telling you, Bizarro said that she is stronger than him and Superman put together and they still couldn't defeat her, you know?
Allie? Are you talking about
Yeah,
the wife?
Allie.
Oh yeah, yeah, I get
Said
it.
that, so I'm like, she's pretty damn powerful. The one in our in this particular universe right now has not fully realized what's going on. The other
Right.
one in the universe world, I think, uses the pawns in the other world to go ahead and open the gateway. And once they open the gateway, and hey, come over here, you need to come as soon as possible. She offs them, steps on through, and just, basically decimates the world and takes over it, and that's basically what she's doing. So she's using the other versions of her as pawns in this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What if Tal Rowe's brother is Lois? I mean brother, sorry, wife.
Wife.
What if his wife is Lois?
I don't think it is. I had the inclination that his wife in the inverse world is Allie.
Okay. I didn't think about that.
I hope not.
I'm just saying, I think it
I guess it's
is.
possible. Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah, exciting. Don't know how many episodes are left in this season, but we want to hear from you guys if you're watching the stream, if you're listening to this podcast at a later time. Send us a message. Let us know what you thought about episode 8 of Superman and Lois. Where do you think the show is heading? We want to hear from you. Drop your theories, drop your comments in the chat, or like I mentioned, you can send us a message on Facebook by clicking that send message button, or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com.
I just had a
It's
great idea for some merch, for some Countdown City Geekcast merch. We need to make a T-shirt, Jericho, that
Mhm.
says on the
oh, here we go.
head, and it says,
Here we
"I'm
go.
always right.
Here we
Yep.
go.
I'm always right." We need to
He'll
do
say
that.
the front will say, "Here's my theory," and then on the back, "I'm always
I'm
right."
always right.
Here we go.
Oh man.
Want to call out some really cool headlines that dropped this week, and then I have a little surprise for you, gentlemen. And no, it's
Uh-oh.
not a reach around.
Oh man. Damn.
The first of which is that we are officially getting a sequel to Godzilla versus Kong, which is not something I thought they would do. just because I don't know. The first one kind of landed somewhat iffy, entertaining, but
Eh,
did it like surpass the expectations that everybody had for these two Goliaths to meet? I don't think it lived up exactly to those very high expectations.
it made
Still
a lot
very
of money, Ted.
entertaining. It didn't. It was released on HBO Max,
Well,
which
it was
maybe it adds a lot of subscribers, but box office
maybe.
wise, it
Hmm.
didn't get its opportunity to do that.
Maybe they want to make money or something. Obviously,
There you go.
there's a need for it. They see that it could actually maybe be profitable. You know.
There,
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
I enjoyed the first one, and Remy and I saw it, and he's obsessed with all the Godzilla and Kong movies and everything, all the monsters. So we really enjoyed it, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see a sequel. I mean, Godzilla versus Kong was pretty good. Could have been a lot better, of course, but um, I think the way they teased like Mecha Godzilla and all that, it was such a short battle in
Yeah.
the end. So I think there's going to be more to it. They're going to bring back some other monsters, and now that Kong is king of the monsters, or no, was it Godzilla is now back to king of the monsters, right?
Godzilla's king of the
Yeah.
monsters.
So there's going to be somebody who's going to come back and fight them or something. I,
I
I
mean,
don't
dude,
know, but
he beat Kong's ass. He was stepping on the dude. I mean,
hmm
He beat him handily, yeah. Other news, new video game has been announced in the Witcher series. They call it a brand new video game or a new saga that they're starting with the Witcher video game
I'm gonna
series.
call it right now, Teddy. It's a prequel. It looks like a prequel more than a sequel.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, all right. Also in video game news, something that we kind of helped drop about a few months ago. I had spoken with Ernie Hudson at a a film festival, and in those Q&A sessions with the crowd, he revealed to us that he and Ghostbuster co-star Dan Aykroyd were working on a new video game. Well, that trailer released this week, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. If you want to see that trailer, go on over to our Facebook page and check it out. Is described as a 4v1 game where you and your friends are teaming up to fight against a single entity, ghoul, spook, specter, who's trying to haunt a certain location and is able to sort of mess with the environment. And looks like it's a lot of fun. Looks very exciting. You gentlemen better play the game with me. I'm
yeah.
super stoked about it.
And for the first time,
Um,
you can play as a ghost. I'm looking forward
and the 4v1 reference is against a ghost, and that is also a player, a character that you can play as. So very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I- There's a certain part of me though that wishes that there was a story mode element to this, and it doesn't feel like there's gonna be one. Not not a huge letdown. More Ghostbuster content is always good. So wait for the game, which is supposed to come out, I think, late 2022, maybe end of quarter three, early quarter four. But more news to come.
well, I hope the game is better than the latest movie of Ghostbusters because
Get off the show,
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Let's not go
which
there.
was an incredible movie,
Yeah.
Oh my!
incredible, rave reviews,
Cut his mic.
loved by all
That is my-
fans,
Jericho, cut his mic.
loved by all fans,
You knew Teddy.
enjoyed by oh Joe, we can't hear you,
Oh
buddy. I don't know what
no,
happened. Oh,
what's going
what? Oh
on?
no. Hey, I think you're back. Is your mic back on?
Yeah, but you know you were gonna love
Let's
this
let's
because
let's
you
let's keep
show
it
up
that
to a
way.
film to watch it in a onesie, a Ghostbuster onesie. That tells you all you need to know. All you
If
need to
you're
know.
if you're talking about the San Antonio chapter of our Ghostbusters charity organization, yes, which we had a very cool event last weekend at the Trevino funeral home. They put on a block party. They do it a lot for the neighborhood on the west side of town, and there was free food,
It's safe.
free games, free prizes.
Just playing. I grew up
And
on the west side.
I grew up 6 blocks from Trevino Funeral Home, so I was
Yeah.
just like, I'm back. I've come full circle. But this time I got a flight suit on and a proton pack.
And no
We
one
had a
messing with me.
blast. We we had a blast taking photos with
Did you watch
all
the one?
those and attendees, and I haven't watched it since Ernie
Oh,
Hudson touched it. So,
oh, I thought you didn't watch it since you watched it when that premiere. You know.
which was I think before. Anyways, we're getting off track. Great event, and if you want to learn more about where you can see the Ghostbusters of San Antonio chapter in our future charity events, head on over to Ghostbusters SATX on Facebook. We're doing some Fiesta events coming up, some stuff with the Special Olympics that are coming up. All very exciting, all for great causes. We raise money for Meals on Wheels for a lot of our appearances. So if you want to see us, you want to find out what we're doing, if you want to join, Ghostbusters SATX on Facebook. Real quick, staying on DC News, CW has renewed The Flash for a ninth season, and
There you
a
go,
show that
Jericho.
we've already talked about today, Superman and Lois, is coming back officially for season 3. How exciting is that, gentlemen?
That's pretty
It's
cool,
very
man.
cool. Very cool.
But the
Yeah,
Flash coming back for a ninth season, that's pretty damn good, dude.
And that's I don't know. Is that a milestone, right? Because I don't remember what Arrow ended on. Was it six or
I
seven?
think Arrow ended on 8.
8?
Joe's gonna
Okay.
look it up right now.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
And I'll admit, the Flash, it's I feel like it's lost its way a little bit.
Yes.
I'm still a huge fan.
Yes. It's jumped the shark a
It
lot in the
has,
last few
yes.
seasons.
I don't know if they think anyone's watching anymore, and that's why they're doing this, but
Oh, it's 8 seasons of Arrow.
18.
Right,
Okay,
8
see, so it's
So,
still
seasons.
huge.
So,
yeah, the
yeah.
So
Flash
hey,
is king right now
it's
with
it's
9.
passing its predecessor. I mean, that's really cool. Arrow's the one that set up the whole Arrowverse. So, um, yeah, we haven't reviewed Flash in a while, and I think we do at some point need to get back into it. But man,
If there's like a
it's
crossover or something, I think we will, but as for now, it's just like I'm not interested in anything they're doing. I'm not saying that it's not
yeah,
entertaining. I'm
The
just not emotionally invested in what's happening. And I
the
tell my
only way
son a lot that when we're watching, I'm just like, listen, I know you love the Flash. I don't care about what's happening. And I'm also confused. It feels like no stories are kind of
it's
moving
it's
along
it's
from
like a
week to
new
week.
story every week.
Yeah, it's like a
It's
new
like
TV
a
show.
villain of the week. Yeah,
It's a new TV show every week. And
going backwards.
again, I'm not saying it's bad. If
Yeah,
it's just a little convoluted and there's nothing to really hold on to because every week is so different. So, I think we will talk about Flash eventually,
yeah,
yeah.
but I think what I will say is that the only thing that could be extremely interesting going forward, and I feel like they're trying to set it up, is that Barry Allen won't be on the show at some point between this one and season 9. And I don't know if that's going to be a permanent thing, but
mm,
I feel like they're showing us so many other characters that can take the mantle of
yeah.
the Flash, and you don't need Grant Gustin going forward, and they will find a way to write him off the show or just have him take a step back and return at a later time. And that sounds kind of bad,
No, I get it. I could see that happening.
but
The
it
only
feels
way
like
that
that's
we're
the
gonna
only thing they
review
have
the
left to
Flash
do.
is if Jericho dresses as the Flash while we're doing the review.
You want everybody to be in costumes and outfits.
Well, hey, Teddy started it first with the Ghostbuster onesie,
Yeah,
dude.
there you go.
You are welcome. All right. More DC news. Some a show that we love talking about that we've had so many people talk to us with is Young Justice Phantoms. Young Justice season 4. We all got the information. We've been sharing it that they're coming back next week in one
Nice.
week, March
Wow.
31st. The thing that we just found out though is that the next 2 episode titles are number one, episode 14, Nautical Twilight, and then episode 15 is titled Ebb Tide. You know that thing we do where we take the first letter of each episode and it makes a phrase throughout the
Hmm.
season that happened last year in season 3, and the fans are continuing with season 4. Well, we've been tracking this. And if you take the K and if you take the N in Nautical Twilight and you take the E in Ebb Tide, then this is pretty interesting. So far, what we have is invitation. Let me start over. Invitation to, and then you have K, N, and E.
Hmm.
That what fans are theorizing. Jericho's gonna blow your mind right now. The next word could possibly looks like it could be the word Neil. And in DC
Nice. Okay.
Comics, whenever you use the word Neil,
Yep.
it always refers to one individual, and the season is called Young Justice Phantoms.
Kneel before Zod.
Ah, there you go, sir.
Yeah.
If you were to type out the rest of that phrase, invitation to kneel before Zod, it makes exactly, requires exactly 26 letters, which is the number of episodes we have in season 4. So, quite possibly, which we haven't seen him ever in
Yeah.
this series, we could quite possibly be getting our first appearance of General Zod. Um, and Phantoms has been loosely referring to like different characters or elements throughout these first 3 arcs. And now, what if it also refers to the Phantom Zone, which was a theory that some people had. I think I might have thrown it out there. Wasn't for sure about it at all, but General Zod, pretty freaking dope.
That is.
How
Yeah.
is
That's
he
pretty
gonna look?
badass. It's gonna look amazing.
Right? Awesome.
I'm looking at all the other pictures that they have of other people who have played General Zod and the different depictions of him.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty cool, man. It'd be cool if they have the character introduced with Young Justice, you know? I'd be down
absolutely.
for that. I'd be down for that.
We'd all love it. He's such a beloved character in the Superman movies, and it would be amazing to see what this creative team does with General Zod. Last 2 items. It's official. Marvel Studios is actively developing a Nova project, something that fans have been harping for I don't know, since Phase 1, really. I think,
Hmm.
or Phase 2. No
Since
word yet.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Absolutely, no word yet if it's going to be a series or a film. But Deadline Hollywood revealed that they're moving forward with the Nova project with the writer from Moon Knight. So,
Hmm.
keeping it in the family. I
When I
got
heard that it was gonna actually be a series.
That would be cool. I
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them. I think that would be dope if they did it. Gentlemen, do you want to play a game?
No,
Sure.
I'm tired, Ted.
Oh man.
We're gonna make it quick. Here we go, gentlemen. It's time to play a game
Oh no.
with the Riddler, and I'm gonna help out. I'm gonna help out because I can.
You got killed last time. Me and JC were the ones standing.
I already defeated
You
him.
had your face eaten off by a rat.
Here's how it works: 3 questions to get right, and if you get them all right, the truth will be exposed. And let's get started. Again, for every wrong answer, Jericho has to take a knife and stab himself in the thigh. So we need to get these right, people. If you're watching us at home, be sure to help out. We don't want Jericho to have too many scars. All right.
There you go.
First riddle. Once you've been set up, it hits you at the end, straight on. Gentlemen, your thoughts. Oh, come on. Anyways, I didn't even type anything. It already said it was wrong. Um, Jericho or Joe, first riddle. Once you've been set up, it hits you at the end, straight on. Any theories?
Betrayal or failure?
Let's try.
Hmm.
You're
Oh,
close.
my bad.
You're close, but not there. You said failure?
Yeah.
No, not that one.
So more
Yeah,
along the lines of betrayal. What's
yeah.
another name for
Actually,
betrayal?
keep going. You let me know.
Jericho. You're gonna get Teddy's face bitten off by a rat if you don't answer
I'm
the
I'm trying
question.
to get my lighting set up again. So sorry, Ted. We're gonna end up losing you because of my lighting. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Let's see if I can look it up. Another name for betrayal. Betray is another name.
You
Oh,
were
deception.
Ooh, I like deception.
no, you're close though. I will say that you are definitely close.
The only other names are gonna be like dishonesty or double crossing.
Son of a bitch. Okay, I'm gonna look dark for the rest of the episode.
Man, Ted's gonna die, Jericho.
I'm sorry, Ted. My
Where's that
lighting is
fork?
broken.
Get ready to stab yourself with a fork, sir.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Joe, you're very close. You sort of were in the same realm that I was. Once you've been set up, it hits you at the end straight on. What hits you at the end once you've been set up?
Betrayed.
Once you've been betrayed, what happens to you?
You get killed, you get shot. You know, that's the only other things I can think of. Get hit in
Do
the
you?
face with a bat.
So
Justice comes for you.
what?
Justice comes for you.
There you go.
Once you've been set up, it hits you at the end, straight on. The answer is punchline.
Mm.
Set up a joke, hits you like
Set
with
up
the
a joke.
punchline. Man,
Yeah. Next one, a wild card in the truest sense.
a joker.
Yeah.
Good answer, my friend. Last question. It's not a joke, but sometimes you need to shout it twice to really mean it. And you kind of see the theme here, right?
Hmm.
Punchline, joker, what's something that you shout twice?
I'm Batman.
That's only once. I'm Batman is one time.
When he knocks him out, he has to say it again louder. I don't know.
Again, the themes here.
Yeah,
Punchline, joker. This riddle here, it's not a joke, but sometimes you need to shout it twice to really mean it.
a l- well, like his laugh,
And what is it the laugh? What does it sound like?
Haha.
like a cackle, like a maniacal laugh.
I'm out.
Um,
That's supposed to be right. Haha,
is it supposed
supposed
to
to
be
be
right?
right. Yeah,
Oh
it's not
wow,
working. What the heck?
maybe like ha exclamation point ha exclamation point.
Ha 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 ha.
Try three of them. Yeah, try three ha ha ha's.
This is so weird. It worked That is the right answer. I wonder what's wrong with it. It might be a glitch or something right now.
Spell haha H capital H little a then capital H little a.
Hmm.
Hmm. Or maybe it's just ha. Oh, there it is. It's just ha. Sorry. So you don't type haha, but okay. So this is
Nice.
very cool.
We're gonna see Teddy's
Uh,
face getting eaten off by a rat.
you guys can't hear this, right?
No.
No,
Okay.
because you didn't share the sound.
No, I get it. I get it. And I wasn't going to because I didn't want WB to get mad at us for it. But
That's cool
once
though.
you answer the Riddler's riddles, you get led to the deleted scene of Robert Pattinson's Batman. Going to the Joker for almost advice. Very Silence
Hmm.
of the Lambs, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Very Hannibal Lecter like, where he's helping to profile this serial killer. And yeah, it is something. Drew is in the chat. What's going on, Drew? Is that the Batman question thing? Yeah, if you go to Rata Alada, RATAALADA.com, that is where the Riddler, has been posting his riddles since like the very first poster that we got. What's going on, man? Good to see you again. So yeah, which has been great marketing, and I've already talked about it. Matt Reeves, who directed Cloverfield, the original, is no, um, what's it called? He knows how to put on a great
It's
online marketing campaign.
dude, his marketing for Cloverfield was insane.
Absolutely. We love so
Insane.
much talking about it and playing with it.
Yep. It
It's
was
been
ahead
great.
of its time, dude. Even the videos that they would show of
Oh
something
yeah.
going and
Like
hitting the oil rigs and all that kind
like
of
there
stuff.
was times where I'm like, is this real? Because it is really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like is this a movie for sure?
Absolutely.
Not like we're actually under attack.
I actually went to go. I watched the movie again because it was playing randomly, like during the day. I think it was on HBO or something. And I watched it, and I was like really paying attention to it. And I was like, okay. So the monster that was rummaging through or rampaging through New York was actually a baby. It was
Right.
an infant. So I was like, okay, because it wasn't full grown. Because the one that we see full grown was higher than the clouds, you know. So I
That
was
was
like,
so
dude.
weird.
And they
Yeah.
had a hard enough time trying to kill this one. I'm like, "Damn, where are these things coming from?"
And
That's the question.
I think you can forget going forward, you could forget 10 Cloverfield Lane and the Cloverfield Paradox, those spin-offs. I think that when they come out with this next Cloverfield movie, it's going to be a true sequel. It's going to make some sense because the intention is to actually make it make sense, and they're
Right.
not going to just shoehorn other movies into the Cloverfield universe. So fun, but finally a true sequel to the original. All that to say, Matt Reeves is no stranger to great online marketing campaigns. The Riddler website has been fantastic. Hope you guys have been playing along like I've been telling you to. And we've been answering riddles the last couple of shows that I've been on with these guys. And Jericho, you didn't have to stab yourself in the thigh with a
Yes.
fork. Yes,
Yes,
another
yes,
leg survives.
yes.
If you
I wanted
want
to
to
see that.
see, sorry, I was just about to say, if you want to see the Batman talking with the Joker deleted scene, go to Facebook. It's on our Facebook page. You can watch it right now. Uh, Turn on the subtitles, turn that volume up. Barry Keegan, who's in Eternals, plays this version of the Joker. And before you start sort of making your decisions on whether you like him or not, just understand this is Matt Reeves' universe.
Hmm.
Joker's origins will deviate from the comics. Matt Reeves is going to make his own interpretation. Matt Reeves is going to give his own origin story. and we can talk about it next week about sort of what they're trying to do and get everybody's thoughts about it. But
Yeah.
watch it with an open mind. Um, don't expect the Joker to be the main villain in the next movie for the Batman. In my eyes, and I think I have Matt Reeves' kind of perspective on this because the first one seemed to kind of align with what I was thinking. Joker's not done evolving as a character, much like Bruce Wayne's not done evolving
Mhm.
as a character. Joker, you should fully expect to see a final form of his by the third film.
This is
Um,
my final form,
absolutely.
but I still have one more that I'm willing to go to,
There you go.
a la Dragon Ball Z.
So yeah, definitely. And don't think the Joker's going to be the main villain. I think this is just to show us a parallel between Bruce and Joker, sort of growing his characters, becoming better versions of themselves, or in Joker's case, an even more villainous version of himself. And we'll sort of get to that comic book type character that we know and love probably by the third movie, not in the second. He might be a side character, he might be a subplot. I don't think he'll
Mhm.
be the main focus. I think you still move forward with somebody else that takes all of Bruce's attention while Joker's in the back, sort of becoming a better villain, that a better villain that Gotham deserves.
He'll evolve more and more. Yeah.
I just wanna see
Absolutely.
Batman Beyond, dude. I'm already tired of these other versions of Batman. Let's get
We
a
just got
Batman
one.
Beyond, dude.
We just got one you won.
I wanna see Batman Beyond. I don't wanna see another, "Oh, this is another version of Batman." I'm like, "How many times can we see the different versions of the same character, man?" It's like, "Come on, man. Give
Well,
us."
it's a
I
multiverse, man.
I
I
get
I
it,
still
man. I
don't
want
think a
Batman
Batman Beyond
Beyond.
movie would work.
It
Like
will.
it would look cool, but it's one of those things where it's set so far in the future. You would have to do like in Justice League Unlimited, where they had the crossover with Batman Beyond.
Or why can't you just do a Batman movie with an older version of Batman nearing the end of his career, and that leads into Batman Beyond?
But again, like if we're I don't know if they're gonna try and connect everything again, but fans are gonna want not maybe another Justice League movie, but do we want like this Batman, with the Matt Reeves one, it's young enough to where we could eventually maybe start getting more villains and maybe start getting possibly other heroes at some point, even if it's just, name drops and stuff. Whereas Batman Beyond is going to be so far in the future. I think there's just so much futuristic stuff and so much story that you have to
So you're gonna tell me that
keep
a
up.
Spider-Man 2099 is not gonna work in today's time?
It's the same thing. As much as I love the
People
story
would
of
love
of
it.
of, Spider-Man 2099 and Batman Beyond, it worked as a TV show, it worked as a, video game and all that, but live action movie, I don't know, like, it
I
would
think
have to be like a standalone film and nothing
we
else.
we need to take this one step at a time. Batgirl's already like finishing, wrapping up production pretty soon. So that's gonna be like the next thing. Introduce
Mhm.
Batgirl. They're already doing this Gotham Knights spin-off TV
Yeah.
show on the CW. I'm still like really iffy about that because they're pulling out sidekicks that we don't really focus on a whole lot. But so let's see how that goes. The Nightwing movie is gaining more traction. The Nightwing movie, which was announced 3-ish years ago, 4-ish years ago, and had the director attached to it, um, got put on the shelf, and now it's starting to gain more traction. It's starting to gain more momentum. I'm still waiting for like an official announcement, but for now, like a Nightwing movie might be the next piece of the puzzle. Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood has always been a project that WB's talked about
Yeah.
developing. Um, Michael Keaton needs to reprise the role. Thoughts? Keaton's
Down with
going to
that.
be in the Flash movie. Keaton's going to be the Batman of the Batgirl movie. If they decide to use him for like the Nightwing project, the Red Hood project, I think he could do it. And then you definitely need him for like a Batman Beyond project. The problem is Michael
Yeah.
Keaton's like in his 70s, and the dude isn't very spry at the moment. So like, if you want a Batman to like,
He still played the Vulture, Ted. He looked okay, man.
I get it,
Well,
but
Vulture wasn't as
the,
physical though.
absolutely. And if you want your Batman to be the crime fighter, Dark Knight, jumping, flying, all that good stuff, Keaton is not supposed to be that guy. So I'm still waiting for WB to figure that part out. Like, you're not getting us uh, a mentor Batman who's also actively playing Batman out in Gotham streets. You're just
Why
giving
not?
us the mentor side, and that's it.
He could be helping the people with that are in the AARP, get some discounts on their drugs, their medication
Oh
and stuff.
God.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, I mean, he would be perfect since he is 71. I just looked it up. He would be perfect to do for the Batman Beyond movie because
Yeah.
just like in the Batman Beyond show, he started off just needing to retire. Essentially, he couldn't keep on, and he's going to eventually get to that point. So I am
Yeah.
curious how he's going to be in the Flash movie and in the Batgirl show movie,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. That'll be a little
Well, can I
taste.
also let you all know I went and watched Uncharted last weekend with the kids. They wanted to go
Oh yeah.
see the movie for some reason. One of the cool things that they had right before Uncharted actually started is they show you the trailer for Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse, the
Mm,
sequel. And it was actually like a couple minutes that they played of the actual upcoming film itself.
Wow.
And it was pretty damn dope. They even introduced Spider-Man 2099 in this, so
nice.
he is going to be in this particular upcoming film, and it looks really good. The animation is just right on par from where the first one left off, and they showed Spider-Gwen as well. So, if another reason, if you haven't seen Uncharted, go check it out because you'll get to see a little
Very
teaser
cool.
of the upcoming animated Into the Spider-Verse film.
Yeah. Exciting, because also 29 Spider-Man 29 was also teased at the end of the last one. So
Hmm.
yes, glad to hear that they followed through. Because yeah,
Yeah,
exciting character to put on the film.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Cool.
Uncharted the movie was and I knew that going in. The kids wanted to see it, so I was like, "All right, I'll go." I could, use a little nap or something, but I watched it.
Your
It was
your kids said something different online. They said that you wanted to watch it and you dragged everybody there.
no.
That's their
I ain't going to
story.
show up in a onesie to this one, dude.
Yeah, that is all of our topics for today. Also wanted to announce that Scream 6 is officially going to be going into production later this year, up in Vancouver or just Canada, somewhere up in there. But yeah, Scream
Cool.
6
Cool.
moving forward. Gail Weathers, aka Courtney Cox, has already signed on to reprise her role. No word yet on Nev Campbell, but I'm sure they're gonna have to bring her back. Hopefully, they
Hmm.
don't kill her. That would suck. But yeah, other
My
than
wife
that,
does dig the Scream series. She likes watching that. I saw her watching that the other
you know
day.
what? That was that was entertaining. I actually liked a lot of what they did. Definitely.
Yeah,
Upcoming
it was
TV
funny,
shows
man.
that we're upcoming TV shows that we're going to be talking about very, very soon. We're going to continue our discussion series on Halo. Hope that you guys keep up with that. Starting next week, two new premieres. One of them is brand new. Moon Knight drops on the 30th. We're going to be talking about that next week. Hope you guys can join us. And then Young Justice returns with the second half of season 4 on March 31st. Be sure to follow us and find out when we go live so that you can join the fun in discussing one of the best DC Comics animated series of all time, Young Justice. Season 4, or sorry, the arc 4 is all about Kaldor, aka Aqualad. Aquaman now. He's
Man,
actually
now, yeah.
Aquaman. He got promotion last season. So yeah, Kaldor is actually Aquaman at the moment. So
Aqua person, since we're not too sure. But Joe, I
Aqua.
mean, this gives you Joe. This gives
Uh,
you
This show is over, Ted.
uh,
He's
We
Jericho,
getting
also
plenty of
got
time to
you
to
need to
catch
uh,
get the
up.
memo, Jericho.
other shows that are coming up this year. Kenobi, May
Yes.
25th. Cannot wait for that. Which is also a limited series, which
Hmm.
makes me have a little bit of a worry, concern, because limited series are usually between what, like 6 to 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not too short.
Was
Miss
Book of
Marvel
Boba Fett
drops.
limited series?
Um,
It was like what, 6 episodes, 8
but
episodes, something?
limited series also means like one and done. Like you're
Yeah.
getting one
Like
season and
WandaVision.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't we'll talk about that
No,
later.
they said it was straight up just gonna be the one season. There's no talks of a season 2 or anything. Like, people wanted
Yeah,
season 2, but I honestly don't
Yeah.
think or
it
even
wouldn't be the
feel a
same.
need for it. Yeah, exactly.
Miss Marvel drops June 8th. The trailer looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks
And then
very
Lord of
cool.
the Rings prequel series, Rings of Power, drops September 2nd. So lots and
Very
lots of
nice.
great TV shows to discuss. And we hope you guys can join us each and every week.
Doesn't that sound like a rock band's name though? Rings of Power, like a metal band?
I love it. I love it.
Said he's gonna share his streaming services, username and password in case, so you can at least get a taste of it, and then,
Jericho wants you to share your Amazon password with him, dude.
I'm good on Amazon.
Jericho,
If you could just share your Paramount, then I'll be set.
we'll talk. We'll talk, sir. We'll see how you behave.
Alright.
Uh, that is it for the Geekcast. Thanks to Derek, Nick, Drew for joining the conversation tonight. You guys are awesome as always, and lots of movies to talk about upcoming soon. Morbius, which is getting sort of mixed reviews at the moment,
Mhm.
but we'll wait and
Or
see
the
and
Ghostbusters.
make our own decision on that. More to come, right? Cool. For
Woo.
the Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man behind the magic. You know him as Joe Garcia.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And I am looking forward to seeing Morbius. I don't care what Teddy says. It's gonna be
Oh, Joe, your mic got muted again. What happened? Oh my god. I'm just kidding, Joe. Go ahead.
oh, you know what? Ted's gonna keep muting my mic, so make sure you can go ahead and watch my take on Morbius on Ted's OnlyFans. You can go ahead
There
and
you
check that
go.
out. As you know, and he does have some merch available, so it's in his. He has a calendar of him in his onesie, for all 12 months. So,
Yep.
I've only sold one, and the only buyer was Joe. And
and I want my
last
money back,
but
dude, because
not
there was some poor pictures in there, dude. It was
last
poor
but
quality. They
not
were blurry.
least, the heart and soul of the countdown to the Geekcast. You know him as Jericho.
He
Later,
even had
y'all.
his calendar printed on tissue paper, Jericho.
So
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and
oh,
YouTube
man.
for future episodes, including the Countdown City WrestleCast, who's dropping their episodes weekly. They did a great episode about AEW in San Antonio. Go check that out now on YouTube. And I'm also talking about the Ghostbuster team experiences for our San Antonio chapter on YouTube. The Ghost Heads radio show got 3 episodes now on YouTube. Go check that out. Lots more events are upcoming. Lots more things to talk about. TV shows, movie reviews, lots of exciting things happening later on this year. We hope you guys can join us for the Countdown to the Geekcast. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Later.